Alright everyone, it is I, VRChat Star Valentine, and today we're going to be checking out Epilog Chapter 2 for the second time on my channel in my little Revisiting Organism Series here. Now, Epilog Chapter 2 is by far the biggest organism map, and is also the grand conclusion, the grand finale of the entire organism trilogy. Which includes Organism and Epilogues Chapter 1 and 2. Now, this map I love to death. It's not nearly, as memorable or as iconic as Organism, being a sequel and all. But it has a lot of really good moments, and it is an absolute technological marvel because, yeah, it is not the biggest map in VRChat. That honor would go to test pilots, but it is about like the until recently it was the second biggest, and then the Macross thing came out. What would it be now? Third biggest? Fourth, maybe? I don't know. But yeah, it is one of the biggest maps in VRChat, and is the most detailed map at its size in VRChat. So, yeah, it is still quite a technological marvel, even if it is, not the biggest map. It's not the big dog anymore it once was. Nah, the new biggest map in town is Test Pilots. But yeah. Well, it was never top dog. Test Pilots has been around for way longer, but even still. Oh, where do I even begin with this map? It is fucking amazing. And you're about to see why when we start taking a look here. It's something else. And also, I do need to voice some growing concerns I do have about the trajectory of VRChat's development, because some recent updates have really fucked up the servers. Like, the servers, ever since those recent updates, have been really unstable, for whatever reason. Though, to be honest, I sometimes do think it's my motherboard acting up, because, yeah, my PC's a piece of shit. But, yeah. Yeah, so let's get into this. Let's actually do this here. And, like always, we have a little, startup screen, basically telling us what the map's all about, and where we are, and all that jazz. And we also have another long-running tradition in the organism maps. That is the big apartment tower, or rather, infinite apartment complex. But only instead of being twisted in on itself or being covered in snow, instead you have it being covered in leaves, and also featuring a gigantic black hole at the top that is sucking in all sorts of shit and just sending it flying all about. And in the middle here, we also have the telephone booth. Only is continuously stretching and squeezing, I guess you could say. And is pretty much just hovering in place now. But overall, it is very much a very it's very indicative, I guess you could say, of the chapter that is about to proceed, because this covers it actually covers the origin story of the business partner of the man in the hat, the Pigeon Head Man. Or at least that's what I kind of gathered from research and from hearing other shit from other people about this world. Is that it covers both the rest of the Man in the Hat story and the entire story of the business partner of the Man in the Hat, aka the one who eventually ran him over in the end of Epilog Chapter 1. That is pretty much what I've heard. Don't quote me on that. I might not be exactly accurate, but yeah. Oh, little pigeon feet. Which already, again, you can really see that they were trying to foreshadow what this guy's like. And we come once again to the crossroads, only this time the Chapter 1 entryway is blocked off by leaves. Meaning that we are now having to enter the Chapter 2 entryway. Which, by the way, has a gigantic pigeon on it, once again symbolizing the pigeon guy. You might be asking, what the fuck is that? And to be honest, I think that's kind of like the beginnings of the organism. Almost like an egg for it, like it was still being like it was still being developed at the time when or at least he had the idea of it. The pigeon head guy did for a while. So yeah. And you can really see here that this is or was the Manhattan's little thing here, only now is completely blocked off. His entire little playroom is ruined, and everything else is basically falling apart here. But the egg, on the other hand, the egg is gone now. And already from this alone, you can tell that Pigeon Boy did not grow up in as nice an environment as Manhattan. No, he grew up in a way. Holy shit, that's a huge pigeon. In a way, less livable environment, shall we say. Not that it was all bad, mind you, but it still wasn't nearly as nice. Here you can see that it was kind of born out behind, an alleyway, basically. That's where his egg hatched. And since then, he was kind of, basically had to grow up entirely, self-taught or taught by his parents in a lot of shit. Didn't have, as nice a home environment. But at least he didn't have any weird, anomalies happen to his house that nearly killed him and killed his parents. So that's nice. Oh, yes. Toilet Throne! Give me your secrets! Hey, yep, there's also a bathtub here. In this bathtub, I've actually seen people, occasionally, occasionally people would come to this world in Publix and would ERP inside this bathtub. They would ERP inside this bathtub. And occasionally I would bear witness to it because I used to come to Publix of this world all the fucking time. Don't anymore because the whole Ripper Store shit happened. But I used to. Maybe I'll start again. I don't know. There's we have some bears on motorcycles, some moss, and the Olympics bear, all which, by the way, if you do not know, are from the original world. The moss symbolizing the Manhattan, who also had some moss shit going on. The bicycle symbolizing the bear cartoon, and the bear Olympics bear symbolizing the Olympics mascot. Oh, a little sewing machine. And you can see, again, his family didn't have as nice a living apartment, but, or, at least not as nice a living space, but, they did try and make it work, at least. Very nice, spacious kitchen, shall I say. Not bad looking at all. Very, very detailed. Now, there is one thing that I do want to complain about here. There's a lot more seam issues and artifacting in this map um, than there are in a lot of the previous maps. And the big reason of this is because he had to work on it in a very short time frame. Dr. Moreau did. Um, just simply because, yeah, if you don't know what his country's going through right now, oh boy, do I have news for you. But if you do, like most of the world, then yeah, you'll pretty much understand where I'm going with this. Need I say any more? And answer is hopefully I don't. And here we once again have the same old fridge model from back then. But I also have two other fridges. And some sinks and some dishes. Very, very nice looking kitchen overall. I really like how they, detailed the burners. That's pretty cool. By the way, in Russia, gas stoves are extremely common. They're almost kind of the standard, pretty much. I don't know if that's actually true, but from what I've seen, a lot of time they are. Here we have a little river, complete with a little office down here. So, yeah, he did get involved with some crime bosses. And then some weird anomalous shit of his own happened. Apparently, he walked in and, yeah, there were a bunch of doors opening up and leaving all sorts of weird documents everywhere. Many of which contained diagrams assuming, that he actually, read them. That he had never seen before. At least he did have, his own little area to go back to, even if it wasn't, the nicest in the world. There's a little car down there. Ah, the drink distillery. What the? I love how a lot of this map is just very interconnected with every part of it. Like, it's just way better done than a lot of previous maps by him. Ah, telephone booth. And where his parents would sleep. All drunk, passed out, and still poor as shit. And I know that did sound very, cynical and a little too harsh, but that's kind of how I am. I'm a bit of a hard hitter. when it comes to describing shit. And by the way, each of this art here, is actual art of like that's art of the train station. That's another picture. That's another painting. And even has the source say right down there. Really cool looking though. Really cool that they set all this up. It really does kind of serve to, show off the inspiration for this map a little bit. Like where some of the visuals came from. Later on, they show off a lot more of like the inspiring photos for this map and a lot of others, and pretty much all the others in the Organism trilogy. I do not know if that music is DMCA, so I'm gonna just stay away from that. It probably is extremely DMCA. But look, giant bass. Not ass, bass. Even though I do like both. Particularly the ass. But yeah, after he did get involved with, the crime syndicate a bit, local mafia, and, all that went down, he did have to transfer, jobs to a different area. And thus, why he ended up there. Where he met the man in the hat, who, basically, seemingly from this, reached out to him and pretty much, gave him all the info he needed, pretty much gave him, everything, and just basically invited him to come work with him on his, project. AKA is kind of where poor old Pigeon Man's life kind of started falling apart. Well, not falling apart, but where, everything kind of started going downhill for, rather uphill for the both of them for a while, and then, took a short turn downhill. So we got Yaks. And the walls have ears, so be very careful what you say. Don't talk shit about the walls here, for they can hear you. And trust me when I say they will not be happy. I love this area. Like, you can really tell that this was planned out to be very cinematic, pretty much. To kind of tell you how, how great he became, or, aspire to kind of be after, the man in the hat gave him all those secrets, gave him the job and everything. And, you can also see the name of the pigeon guy. His name is actually Matt. Matt! That is the name of the pigeon. And unfortunately, I do not have anyone who speaks Russian who has been here with me before. I might take that Shining or someone else pretty soon to help me translate. But yeah, I don't know jack shit about what any of that says. And there's also some Rick Astley music. Um, by the way, up in the later on in the train area that I absolutely do have to mute for. I'll let you know when, but yeah. And here you can see that apparently this organism, or the materials they were using to create it, were not entirely made in a lab by them. No, they were apparently harvesting a lot of it from, various anomalous sources they found all across the country. Most notably, the giant mushrooms that are scattered all throughout the area here. As well as little water sources down here, some light plants, or some glowing plants, I think is what this kind of mean to symbolize. And Vixen, what the fuck? Sorry. And that, they were also experimenting on them, some themselves, as you can see here. Like trying to detect something from them almost, pretty much. And that they even established a little field office. However, as you can see, that was quickly overrun or something else had happened to it. Unfortunately, so yeah. And that is where I will have to get into the shit with VRChat servers right now. So, you know how that update a little while ago did a lot of shit to VRChat servers and destabilize them? Well, I do kind of want to explain what's going on there. So, apparently a few days ago, VRChat released an update that allows you to preload worlds. However, the bad news is that this completely destabilized the servers and resulted in a lot of lag. A lot of people complained to it, and they had to completely undo that part of the update. Like, it just made things so unstable to the point where uh, the game just became genuinely unplayable for a lot of people. Um, and there's only one person who's to blame for that, and that's Tupper. You see, Tupper started pushing a whole bunch of weird updates through, uh, pretty much without consent from anyone else in the team, and that was one of them. And it was solely just to, fulfill his own agendas. And yeah, it was just very fucked up. Very, very fucked up. Like, there was no beta testing at all or anything. Like, it was just, no one had any say in it at all, unfortunately. What was that? But yeah, it's just a really fucked up situation, and I am really, really worried that if this continues, VRChat, they aren't going to be able to fully repair the damage that was done here. Like, it really will not be quite reparable fully. So yeah, just a really, really unfortunate situation overall. But I will still keep streaming VRChat, but it's gonna make it a lot harder. The damage that they've done to the servers is gonna make it a lot harder to stream VRChat. But I will still continue to stream. Don't worry. I mean, this is my main game after all. So yeah. So and who let's just continue right along. Soon after being hired by the Man in the Hat, and soon after discovering all the mining shit and all that, the pigeon guy was sent to the beach, where it was to work on the main organism protocol, which is of course sending all bits and pieces of data to the organism itself. Only as you can see here, this project or this phase did do a lot of environmental damage. It completely caused some buildings to fall in on themselves. It apparently gave pigeons dark powers? Yeah, you heard here first. And yeah, it was just not good for the environment in general. But yeah, as it continued and more creepy shit started happening, people just still continued to revere him, and he still continued to gain more and more power from doing it. They both did. So yeah. It was right at this bar where he first caught visual of the organism. Where he first stared up and actually saw it with his own eyes. And that's when he knew. That's when he knew what he needed to do. That's when, by God, he started working on it. And I do know that I am, using flight a lot. But some parts of the map are impossible to cover in a reasonable amount of time without using flight jets heavily. Because this is not your small little, Epilog Chapter 1 organism. This is Epilog Chapter 2. And those are really creepy pigeons. Oh yeah, and by the way, pretty soon I will start working on my own home world. Only because here's the thing. Um, for as much as I love, what is using my it's nothing. Sorry, my hard drive was doing weird shit, so I decided to go check what was going on. But now it's more system refactoring. But yeah, for as much as I love, Undernet Hub, I can't stay there forever. And plus, some recent updates to our NetHub have made me start worrying about the future for the map, or at least me being there. Mainly the whole streamed media update, because yeah, that's just not a good combination. Because my PC just freaks out 90% of the time whenever there is like stream media anywhere. So it might actually give a world a second shot. Not saying I'll do it soon, but I am saying that I might do it, period. So yeah. So, you do have some other things to look forward to at least. So yeah. Um, but anywho, this is the first time where, Pigeon Guy set foot in the lab. And oh boy, is it really sun. Because as you can see here, this is where they were basically, saying the data through, and it would be processed in here. By this huge machine that was, I imagine how it works is it was sending, samples from here, data from this area, and data from this area, and it was all getting, calculated, smashed together, and wells, whatever else. And it was being, deposited as all this down here. And that was basically how it was working. So in other words, whatever this was probably some really advanced, computer system that was, coordinating the data and modulating it and turning it into actual shit that the organism can understand, and then, sending it to it, and then, bringing out the result and measuring the result over here. And that's pretty much what they were doing. And if we come out here, and unfortunately, no, Sarah Dynamite will not be on tonight. They are currently sleeping. I need to start doing streams more my usual hours again, don't I? And I do not know what the sign language there is. Perhaps someone could figure it out for me. But yeah, they were using this big-ass antenna to send all the data to the organism. A big antenna, which, by the way, was using one of the crystals they found, or whatever those big pyramids of light are. Now, while those two were continuing their work, things were not looking too good for the average man. Things continued to decay, living conditions stagnated. Everything was all falling apart. And yeah, you can really see here that things were just not doing very well. Which, by the way, this has to be one of the most graphically impressive areas of this entire map. I know I didn't talk about the aesthetic much, but that's because the organism aesthetic period is just all so good looking that I really don't need to introduce it that much anymore. Like, you should just look at it, just know it's gonna be really fucking impressive no matter what. Just because, again, organism. Indeed it is. But no, seriously, this has to be one of the most impressive looking areas of the map. Not just because of the lighting, but also just because of the water, the way that everything is placed, just so well designed. Like, Dr. Moreau might have some weird artifacting occasionally, but one thing that he does get spot on time after time after time is the graphics work. It is just so incredible. And really, the level design work in general is just so good in his worlds. There's a giant, potentially dangerous pigeon back there. And here you can see, this actually used to catapult you out if you went too far out. Now it doesn't anymore. Because they fixed the colliders finally. But, yeah, here you can see, again, it overlooks the, drilling operation for more raw materials to build this thing with. Which, by the way, as much as I love the kind of interpersonal like dialogue and all that, I do kind of, it is kind of a Trails of Cold Steel scenario where, there's a lot more about the lore and about, how shit works that I just want to know. Like, how, more details on the organism process and, on all the machines that they use to create it. You know, And that's really just a complaint for sci-fi writers in general. A lot of the time, they just do not explain a lot of how various things work. And I always just find that just very frustrating because I just want to know. I just want to know how all this works. But I understand why they do not do it. I mean, it would be very hard to pinpoint all that out over such a short period of time. Especially if you have, a budget and time limit like Dr. Moreau did. But still. But yeah, as you can see here, um, one of the big things, hurdles of this entire project was that it used astounding amounts of power. We're talking absolutely astronomical amounts of power to the point where they had to build this entire huge nuclear power plant here just to, power it all without, everything just falling apart. And they even did a little demonstration outside the nuclear power plant where they, demonstrated what appeared to be one of their teleporting cages or something. A lot of people, gathered to watch as they did and managed to be, successful for the most part. And by the way, you might remember a lot of this part from from the last leg of the game of the original organism. And that's because quite a bit of it was used as inspiration for the last little bits of organism, the OG chapter. Especially this here. Like this was really this is also used in the the rainy part too, where you're on that little bridge, basically. Really, really good looking. I really love this. Oh yeah, you might remember this. Yep, that is a nuclear ice cream stand. Only it does not sell nuclear ice cream. Nuclear ice cream. Instead of melting in your mouth, it melts your insides. Well, our ice cream stand. And then a security booth, which has no colliders. Again, another oversight because, they didn't have a lot of time, but, you know. Wait, there's an entire area over here? What's this? Oh, it's a little auto shop. Not too interesting. And what were they doing inside that factory? What the fuck? You know what? Not even gonna think about that. And there's some more of the murals that appeared. By the way, those murals, the space flight and other murals, they appeared in the university as well. Epilog Chapter 1. This is where they finally got, observation of the organism, and I know I do not have a very well-sized Abby for this, but yeah, you can see, they did discover a little indent on it. As well as, computer equipment to actually, monitor it. So this is where they start, really working hard on monitoring and making sure this doesn't go too out of hand. And really, also try to work with it a lot more too. Yeah, that's very fucking creepy. Well, not all the time. It's not all the time that's very fucking creepy, but in this world in particular, it just is. I don't know how to explain it. Huh? There's a pigeon. Oh yeah, and another area where I have to turn down the sound because of DMCA music. You can see that the pigeon boy was really into all sorts of cool sounds, and also into album covers with hot women. And yep, that elevator does actually what? Oh, this part freaked me out the first time I saw it. There we go. But yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. A gigantic finger pressing the button, which they're about to not here. This is kind of where a lot of samples they came back started hatching and whatnot. But yeah, as they're about to see here, that button was where they sent out their initial signals. Kind of started actually getting serious about working on all this after researching it for so long. And really wanted to see, where this project led. But of course, as the project, grew, so too did government monitoring, and I do not know what the fuck those are. Look interesting though. But yeah, monitoring definitely grew because, people were really freaked out. Like, they did not know what to think of all this. Neither would I, to be honest, if this, was a thing. There's a little pigeon in a black hole. Perhaps, symbolizing that, more and more anomalous, strange things were happening as his, everything grew. And this part, I really love this visual because, based on what I know of the story, or what was I was able to think, figure out. This really symbolizes how, as his power grew, him and the Man in the Hat, they both became, revered. Celebrated even. But, and basically became, very well-liked and well-established figures throughout the world. With everything that they've worked on, basically, being taught in schools, being taught to, as a normal classroom subject, as you can see here, like, it really got very extensive coverage, I guess you could say, as they continued their work, even though, again, they were doing massive damage to the environment, massive damage to everything else, but still, people still genuinely believed them, and people still genuinely, listened to them and supported them. That is a big light bulb. Why are they building there? What are those? They're shoes! Once again, you know what they say about people with big feet. Oh, that's the Man in the Hat. But that made me that freaked me out a little bit. I was like, what the fuck's that? But no, that is the Man in the Hat right there. The OG himself. As you can see, after, receiving enlightenment, I guess you could say, he, now seems to glow entirely. And pigeons have really bad sense of direction, so, yeah, I would never ride on this train. This is a train wreck waiting to happen. You know what that tape also reminds me of? That tape also reminds me of the there's a secret scene in Deltarune where you could actually view a tape of the knight creating a fountain, a dark fountain. Well, it's exactly like that. Like, it has the same, kind of impact and the same kind of meaning, the creation of the organism and the creation of the dark fountain, pretty much. Not a bad little area, to be honest. Quite nice. For a subway staff dwelling, that is. And to be honest, this is the kind of bar I would hang out at. I mean, just, just look at the kind of just styling all over it. Just look at how, how it's done, how it's all laid out. This is just a really nice looking bar. And I can see why, the man, the hat, and the pigeon boy hung out here quite a lot. Really shouldn't say pigeon boy. I should call him Matt, shouldn't I? Matt hung out a lot. Not hang out. What the fuck? I cannot speak tonight. I cannot fucking speak tonight. Here's the controls for both the train tracks and for, I believe, the organism, as you can see through the map there. But unfortunately, they've been flooded, so obviously some kind of incident happened during operations. somehow. And, that's how the first big attempt basically went down in smoke. That looks kind of cool. And I really just love this little mall space here. It just gives me so much nostalgia for like when I used to go to the mall all the time. I just love little mall spaces like this for some reason, like little market spaces. That was always my jam, pretty much. I just fucking love that. And there's the Rick Astley music that I was warning you about. Here you can see the little view of the above ground, the little pigeons there. That would just be very cool. Eric just recreates its own map. More optimized, quest compatible, and not really part of anything. And to put, actual fucking shops in. That's beside the point. Uh, right there, yep. But yeah, this was of course where the portal was built. Or rather, the second version of the portal, because the first version of the portal was housed in the big nuclear institute, whereas the second version here was housed in an entirely separate facility, indicating that either something had gone wrong with the original portal and they had to move everything here, or something else had happened. What the fuck was all that about? I think that occasionally transitioning just gives my graphics card a hard time when I'm streaming this map for whatever reason. I need a new computer. Holy shit. I know I say that too often, but no, really, I do need a new computer. This thing's 5 years old and it's barely hanging on for dear life. And here you can see more of the pigeon visuals, giving you a representation of the man of the pigeon guy. And right here, that him and Mothman had way bigger ambitions than just revolutionizing travel on the Earth. They wanted to seriously change things in space as well. And, that during these final tests, he really did look back on the life he once had. How he grew up, which I think is sweet. Not really sure what kind of generator this is. Or if it's like meant to be a generator or meant to be a container. Not really sure. But, But of course, they lost funding and they had to go here. To a very, very well-lit and quite nice looking bar. I really like this environment. Like, the atmosphere of this place is just... Woo! Where I begin. I'd go here. It also has a little, actual working pool table. Which is, Shay did not expect from, Dr. Moreau, but... Wait, you can even access this back here? There's nothing really hidden back there, unfortunately. That's a little sad. Unfortunately, the, Matt had, way too much to drink. Just sheer depression of the failure of their recent experiment. This, right here, is where they finally collided. Where both of their fates were sealed. For the time being, because later on you're about to see that, one of them did walk out. Unfortunately, it wasn't the man in the hat. No, 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 no. It was Pigeon Boy who survived. And yeah, sometimes if your GPU is not, feeling up to stuff, this share up here will get really fucked up. Unfortunately, that is the case for mine right now. So yeah. And now you can see we have both of them standing there, two men in the hat, observing the, big experiment here, the big, final test chamber, basically. And, yeah, we have the chair representing the man in the hat, the one who died, and then we have Matt, who's currently sitting in the bed after, being sent to the organism to live his final days. And now, the entryway is fully generated. And not only that, but there's now a huge crack beginning to form right where the portal is. There's Man in the Hat, Pigeon Boy, there's the IRL inspirations for each of these, by the way. Yeah, they show them out in this format. Which is really a huge evolution from how he did for Olympia, by the way. This looks real cool. Now, one thing I will complain about, unfortunately, is the transitions between each arm segment aren't as well done as they should be. Like, they aren't as smooth as they should be. But then again, considering the budget they have, and the time they had to make this, I'm not really complaining. Not that much, anyway. Oh yeah, notice how each of the lights there is also decorated in the style of the Man in the Hat. I find little details like that pretty cool. Oof, almost went into it. But yep, this is where the organism was formed. The merging of both samples to create it took place. But we're not stopping there. No, no, no. Because there's even more to this ending. Because take a look at all this down there. Brand new organisms getting ready to start. And in fact, the building we're on top of, if I could get a good... There we go. Is one in itself. Only far bigger and far more impressive than all the others because is the main central one, the origin point for which all the others have formed in this grand ethereal pool of self-replicating dimensional organisms. And that's how you do a title card. And a little boosted door there, kind of meant to symbolize, what happened when they were sent to the organism, when they both were. As well as, yeah, this is a little freaky. And I, once again, do not know what this sign language says. So if anyone could translate it, that would be really fucking helpful. But I just love this visual here. It's just so well done. Really representative of how this all ended off. Because it just took where the Man in the Hat story left off, add to it, and then it just wrapped everything up in a nice little bow with the Pigeon Boy with Matt. And it just did everything a good conclusion should do. And that is exactly, what we got here. We just got, a perfect conclusion that just wraps everything up very nicely. A nice little bow. As well as what appears to be an organism incubator. And in fact, actually is if we take a look inside here. Because right inside here, we can see a brand new organism being formed out of the energy being collected by this thing. Brand new one that's just getting ready to hatch. And what is my hard drive doing? Oh, it's through the check disk bullshit again. Oh my god. So check disk runs without any consent now. Like, it just completely runs on my own and on its own, and it just yeah, I don't know why it does that. No clue. We're having a sweet moment, check disk. You really had to come, intrude right now. What the fuck? Alright. But yeah. Hang on, I'm gonna let check disk do its thing. And then I'm gonna, get right to the conclusion. Is it finally done? Nope. Alright, now it's finally fucking done. Alright, good. Don't you dare. Alright, there we go. But yeah, oh boy, where can I even begin with this map? Such a roller coaster is, well, I'll say, like, it really is just an amazing roller coaster. Oh, map, it really is. It is just a perfect conclusion because, it just adds more information on, concludes the, whole thing about both the, Pigeon Boy and it also, concludes the Man Hash chapter. It just wraps up a nice little bow. That's all it needs to be said. Like, it's just a really good conclusion that just does everything very well. And it just, it even says, in the end, what will your organism be like? It shows that, this isn't quite over. That this might actually be continuing in the future. Well, it doesn't show that, but it does show, that, the cycle is still continuing. That, these things are still being built. And that I think is really cool and really awesome. Yeah, it's just a really good map, really good conclusion. Just really, it's just good in a lot of areas. Now, how would I rate it overall? How would I, what score would I give it? Well, aesthetics are just, where I even begin. Absolutely astounding, as always, from Dr. Moreau. Pretty much everything Dr. Moreau has just incredible aesthetics. And they even upped their game a little bit because, there wasn't quite as much moving shit as, and, yeah, there wasn't quite as much moving shit in either of the other worlds as there was in this. Like, it really just surged forward in terms of quality there. So yeah, the aesthetic was just the absolute height of organism. Um, Optimization, if you have a PC period, you could run it. I mean, if my low-end piece of dog shit can run it just fine, then your high-end PC should run it just fine too. That's pretty much my motto as far as optimization is concerned. Is if I can run at 60 FPS, then it's pretty damn optimized because my PC is garbage. So yeah. And level design. really, really well done out. I mean, I think the open nature world, like the more open, like the more open world-esque nature of this map compared to the others, which were very linear. I think that served both as like it served to better the map and also a little bit as a detriment. Like the big thing that really suffered is lore continuity in the open world nature, because basically that meant that you had less of a planned out continuity follow. It was a lot harder to follow along, that sort of thing. So yeah, not as well thought out as the OGs, like the other two in that department, but still really good. So what will I rate this map overall? Overall score? 9.9 out of 10. Yeah, it does have some artifacting issues, but that's just because, again, Dr. Moreau didn't have a lot of time to work on it, as he did the first two maps, all because, the fucked up situation in his country right now. But yeah, if you have a good PC, or, a PC at all, and you just want to come to, a map to hang out with your friends, then go right on ahead. Give this one a visit. It's definitely worth it. So that's pretty much it for this stream. Now, this Saturday and Sunday, I will not be streaming anything. I will actually be treat these as proper weekends, like I did, every previous weekend except for last one, because a lot of shit happened. So yeah, no streams tomorrow or Sunday. But I will be streaming again on Monday. And also, once again, I do want to give out a shout out because, the big collab, the big Halloween collab for Sarah Dynamite is coming on up. So yeah, there's also that you do have to keep in mind too. And it is gonna be quite impressive, let's just say. It is I'm gonna have my Halloween costume ready. Everyone else will, and yeah, it'll be quite something. It'll be definitely be quite something, for sure. But yeah, I gotta get going. You pretty much know the drill. I can't stay here forever. So thank you all for watching this wonderful stream here. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, night, week, whatever. And hey, I will see you all on Monday for whatever I have planned then. So yeah, good night, everyone. Stay classy, everyone, and good night. And I'll see you all on Monday for whatever I have planned then. So yeah, see you there, everyone.